I've spent much, if not most, of my adult life in the world of law, trial law, witnesses, witness assessment, jury appeal, how people speak, what they say, how they say, and how so much of law is really based upon not even witnesses, not even sometimes not evidence, not pictures, not DNA, but basically somebody just testifying, this is what I saw. I can't tell you how many DUIs we had a prosecutor where there was no breath, no blood, no nothing. Just some bartender, just some guy who stood there, just some guy who walked by and saw somebody who was drunk. Or in the case of murders, a lot of times in prosecutions, it'll be somebody who's a jailhouse snitch, they'll be called. But they will tell you what they heard, when they heard it, how they heard it, and you will either believe them or not believe them based upon how they say it. So for 43 years or what have you, I've been doing this. And I love to look at people and how they are viewed. And it doesn't get any better than this. This is Erika Kirk. Erika Kirk, as you know, in case you've been in a coma, Erika Kirk is the widow of Charlie Kirk, who, as you know, was eliminated from this existence on September the 10th of last year. And she was pretty much, I want to say, unknown for the most part, but then afterwards, she, by virtue of a series of various machinations, which we'll talk about later on, she is now elevated to CEO status. And of anybody who I have ever seen on television, entertainment, or the like, I can't figure out what it is she wants to maintain. What are you trying to say? This is a woman who, for the most part, excuse me, I'm not saying she's bad or anything. I don't know her. I've never met her. But this is a person who all her life has been trying to fill the void of what you present. There's really no substance to her. There's only the framework, the balloon, the sock puppet, the puppet. You know those. Sometimes you go to like a Jiffy Lube or something. They got a special, and they've got these wind socks, and they're whatever you propel or blow into it. That's the movement you get. Well, that's her in terms of before when she was trying to get into some type of a reality show. She was that. She was kind of like the reality blonde babe, and then that didn't work. And then later on, she became the head mistress of a heretofore a defunct Romanian, I guess, orphanage, which I don't know where the hell that one went. Then she worked for a while with a Corcoran Realty Group, who in New York, it doesn't get any bigger than this. We don't know exactly what she did. And then basically one day she met Charlie. And whether she targeted him, excuse me, had her sights out for him, I don't know. But all of a sudden, she now is in the lead. She's stewarding the helm of TPUSA, which I don't know how long that's going to last. We'll get to that in a moment. But she is now, every time she speaks, and again, out of anybody, I'm trying to figure whether it's Meghan Markle, whether it's Kim Kardashian, and I'm not trying to put her into that category for any particular reason, but whether it's Meghan Markle or Kim Kardashian or whatever, I know what they're trying to say. I know what their gig is. I don't know what this one wants. I don't know what she wants. Erika Kirk should be going on TV and saying, or whatever, and saying, let's talk about how good TPUSA is. But let me just go through this. And not trying to be mean, trying to be cruel. Let's look at this. This was the post White House Correspondents' Dinner. This was the I just want to go home. And if you don't know what that one was, you're missing it. Let's just look at a few things. And let me point out some observations that I make as a trial lawyer, as somebody who always is trying to assess credibility and jury appeal. Let's start off with this, okay? Okay.
Seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world.
Now let's start off right. Got to talk about the clothes. This is a while back because remember, people are still talking about this. This again. You got to ask yourself, what is this image? What is she trying to convey here? Seriously, what is this? Sniper? A SWAT team member? Second story man? What? What is it? Now, I hate to say it, ladies, I'll let you decipher it. What is the image? Does this convey right off the bat somebody you want to feel sympathy about? You got to ask her, why are you wearing this? What are you trying to convey? Right off the bat, say, who the hell's this? This is a woman trying to gain your pity. For what? For her clothes sense? No. So you got to ask. Everything she does leaves you with 10,000 more questions. But I digress.
Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband.
Now, I'm glad you brought that one up. Again, evil. We don't know who the evil are or is. We never find that out. It's a kind of a generic construct. And most people will say, yeah, there is evil in the world. Can't really define it. Don't know if it's Luciferian, if it's Satanist. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of, you know what? Yeah. I'm with you. And what we have found is that, or I have found, is that you can make any particular speech talk about evil, and people will say, yeah. And you don't have to identify what evil is per se. But she's talking about the generic people, remember, who are not just talking about eliminating her husband, but who are coming after her. That is the evil she's talking about. The people who mock her, the people who have not embraced her, the people who have not participated in the apotheosis, the elevation, the beatification, the canonization, the exaltation of this woman as whatever. I don't even know what it is, but they're evil. They're evil.
They have continuously tried to assassinate the president.
Now, I don't want to keep doing this, but I got to say something. You know, Erika, we don't know who is responsible ultimately for the demise of you, or your husband. A great man, by the way, whom we all miss. And we don't know necessarily who was responsible for the multiple attacks on President Trump. If it is one unit or another. But I be very careful, because when it comes to those individuals who have been identified as being suspects in your husband's dispatch, they are far more limited than those who are directed towards President Trump, which, as you can imagine, could come from a variety of stuff. And in fact, I would suspect that the people are different, because many people believe it is what Charlie Kirk said, what he stood for, what he represented, and what he was planning on doing. I don't want to let too much out of the bag. Think you know where I'm going with this. Again, suspicions, we don't know yet, but she's opining as to this generic group of people, which, by the way, we do not disagree with, called evil.
And anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist.
Anybody who stands in the way of the assassins? I don't know.
And every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest. We want the best for our country.
Interesting. No continuity of ideas. No linear, just a thought here, a thought here. It's like a mosaic that, when you stand back, does not present an image. Just like, yes, that's true. Different people, evil. They call us fascists. Who's a fascist? They're a fascist. Who? What? And okay, fine. This is it. Kind of like disjointed. She's on a riff right now, and when she riffs, it gets good.
They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday,
By the way, I want you to remember something. Go back, please do me a favor at your leisure. Go back and look at the mission statement of TPUSA. And it was almost, dare I say, it was almost like a libertarian agenda about the benefits of limited government. It was kind of like a Mises von Hayek, kind of a Mont Pelerin, Milton Friedman, kind of a, if you look at it, the initial, the launching mission was a little bit different than what people think, but she's not wrong. But do yourself a favor. I'm giving you a lot of assignments. Go back and check this one out.
it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher that attempted to change our history for the worst with bullets.
Well, this is, of course, this fellow, this lunatic, this guy. And by the way, now that we look back after the fact, this was the fellow who was a teacher, substitute teacher or something, who was one of the worst hitmen, assassins. Got to be careful. Watch he's not. Who, and by the way, some of the worst Secret Service this guy ran through, and we don't know what this was, what the purpose. Nobody took it seriously except this one. People were walking around saying, you want that wine? Can I get that? You want that? Can I get that centerpiece? Do you mind? People are underneath, they're laughing, they're talking. Kash Patel, who was walking around yelling, I'm getting laid. He's waiting for where's my girlfriend? Where is she? He doesn't know what's going on here. He's getting for his Uber. He can't get reception. This is the head of the FBI. He's walking, he's abandoned. Nobody even thought to jump on him. Even the first lady kind of slithered underneath It was the weirdest thing. Trump's backstage going, I see you. Nobody. People were just, one fella I think I know from New York, it was there eating. You want your onion rings? It was the most unfrenetic, unchaotic melange of nothing. And the only one who was freaked out, now I know what you're saying. PTSD. She's remembering her. She wasn't there when it happened. But look, you know what? I'm not going to argue. That point. But remember, she said the irony. He was a teacher.
And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face.
Who's see? Again, please forgive me. It's always about her. It's always about her. I mean, nothing exists. Charlie? Oh, yeah, Charlie. Right, my husband. Right. Quick, what are your kids' names? Jerry. It's her. This is her chance. How dare you? Oh, yeah, I'll make a few references to evil, but how dare you speak ill of me?
Frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
I'll be there.
So, for example,
a
journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, you look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss. To which I replied, it is so nice to put a name to the face.
Ooh, you see that? Yeah. Oh, now I know who you are. Yes. Oh, Erika knows now.
Especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself.
Wait a minute. Slander about your husband's murder. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure about that. Okay. I'll assume arguendo, she's correct. All right, fair enough.
And I said to her, you know what's so interesting?
What?
This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I find it so fascinating.
Now, wait a minute, here we go. This is the big, have you ever noticed kind of a thing? This is where she kind of pulls it all together. She'll point out some some soon to be glaring observation that nobody caught the first time because they were so busy enmeshed and embroiled in hate.
The dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are commingling in and out of each other's cocktail
Commingling. Sounds like assets. You're commingling assets. You're
parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech.
It's a party, and they'll go to any party. And these people don't have any souls, Erica. I don't know what you're getting at. There's not like, isn't this wonderful that two people can? No, they'll go anywhere because they want to be there. So they see, as their careers crumble and are crushed, as the notion, the very notion of the media completely collapse in a free fall, self implosion. They're doing everything in their power to say, see, I'm still relevant. It's really not what you think. These people are whoas. They'll go wherever there's a party, wherever they can act like big shots because their careers and their prominence is done. Got it? Okay.
And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you. To which she replied, literally, she said, I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special? And following that conversation, it was time to take our seats, and we went into the big ballroom where the dinner.
By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't say how I hate the word literally, because literally has permeated literally every aspect of our verbal landscape. Everybody's saying literally for no particular reason. It's like I mean it or something. It's like the exclamation point when you write. It's literally. I literally was standing here. My eyes literally popped out of my head. No, they didn't. I literally just had to say that.
And one of the first things I noticed when I walked into that room was quite literally the proximity of the opposing outlets to one another. So you have one table here that's Politico, and another table here that's Fox, and another table here that's WAPO, and you're all crammed together, elbow to elbow. And to make the night even more of a spectacle.
Can you imagine they're actually putting y'all together? You're in a room where y'all hate each other, and they're y'all elbow to elbow in a setting where y'all supposed to be hateful, but yet by virtue of the duplicity, the contumacity of the event, you're somehow able to put that aside as you nibble on your vines and victuals. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that she finds this literally fascinating?
Every single 10-person table had 10 bottles of wine. And the president of the White House Correspondents Association, she did a great job of trying to make the evening have that feeling of Americana.
Americana? What is Americana? Doesn't it sound like Ethan Allen or maybe, and you remember the old day country music when they didn't know if it was roots rock, they called it Americana. They didn't know what it was. Americana. Rustic Walden. Hey, Luke. Hey, Hassie. Good night there, Jim Bob. Anyway, Americana.
We were in a room celebrating freedom of speech.
You're not celebrating freedom of speech. I don't know where this, I don't know where this comes from.
About our differences. And the U.S. Marine Band performed the national anthem so beautifully.
I would hope so. I would hope. Nothing against the Marine Corps, but I would hope so.
And then shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out and total chaos ensued.
Yeah. And how did you get out? How did you get out? This was a secured area. Everybody was told don't move because the for all you know, the attempted murderer or his accomplices could have maybe escaped, but yet it's almost like I don't want to say it was organized, but how did she even get out? Nobody stopped her. She just made sure she got through that. Of course, as Candace says, before she did her wedding pictures, looking out, she had to get out because remember, this was about her, not Americana, and not about freedom of speech.
And you guys have all seen what happened next because there are 1,000 videos of it. So
of her.
Let's discuss that fact for a second. if you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter.
Now, I hate to say something, and this may really come as a surprise to you, but in their defense, they are, as you call them, journalists, and that's kind of what they do. They really sometimes want to risk their lives. You see them on battle seats. You see these people walking around, with the flat jacket, press. They do that. People, they sometimes win, when they have various Pulitzer Awards for action. All of our lives, we have one iconic situation after another. Vietnam with the execution of the Viet Cong soldier, the girl covered in napalm, the monk self-immolation. Throughout our Americana, literally, there have been moments. And these are people who are journalists who have a phone and they want to catch it, not out of some kind of weird news fetish, but actually to record something that is happening, because this is what they do. I can't believe I'm defending them, but that's kind of what people do. Not to take selfies with the shooter, though some may have, but it's actually to record an event that they happen to be at live.
That they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot.
Yes. They could have filmed themselves being shot, because that's called, ready for this, bravery. Yeah. Instead of sitting down, covering their heads, which they could have, and who could have blamed them? She doesn't understand that's what they do. That's what people do. To catch the event, to feed it in, to say, here I was. It's what they do. It's what they're paid to do. Some of these people make their bones. They make their reps out there on battlefields doing this. This woman doesn't understand this.
Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story.
They're not putting themselves. Did you catch this? Fight or flight, limbic system, primitive brain, atavistic, cerebral kind of reflex. They're so into putting themselves into that they disabuse themselves. They neglected. They refuse to give into fight or flight and the flight in order to exhibit this absolute sense of selfishness, to put themselves in the event. Yeah, that's what bravery is. When people run on into a battlefield, I'm not making a comparison, but yeah, that's what people do. Do you hear her? This is pure Erika. This is where sometimes I go back and I'll say, how did I miss this? Because it's this, it's like Mandelbrot's fractals. You keep going deeper and deeper, and you keep pulling it apart and go, look, there's more. It never ends. This woman's insipidity has no end.
Which ironically breaks the number one rule of journalism.
What?
And again, ironically enough, the shooter was a teacher.
Wait a minute. She's saying because they're not making themselves, they happen to have a camera and they're taking a picture of it. They're not making, do you hear this? And he's a teacher. Well, and yet to this day, by the way, I recorded this on the 27th of May. Have you heard anything about him? No. Anything about him? No. Nobody cares. It's almost as though, nah, you don't think that. You haven't heard anything about him. Interesting.
You have these people who are supposed to be teaching our children the future of this country, and he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night.
Listen, I'm not laughing. Well, I am laughing. What am I saying? I'm confused here. See, Erica, you see, one of the things that's very interesting about people who have put themselves in the position of being a sniper or an assassin or whatever is that they normally have some kind of a job. There's not like central casting for these people. They don't go to the labor hall looking for a job. They do things. They're students and yes, they're motivated by some crazed desire to wreak havoc or what have you. And yes, by day, they do this, and then later on, they surprise everybody. And what you've described is basically, I don't know if she knows anything about that feller who worked at that Texas school book depository. By day, he's boxing books. And on that one day, he allegedly, putatively fired the man like Carcano, which he didn't. Isn't that something? She's in her desire to be profound. She points out something which is, I think it's called no shit.
And in his manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, I am a citizen of the United States of America.
Okay.
And while we may have big problems with illegal immigration in this country, I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that one. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right.
This is what got my husband killed.
No. No. Because if you think Tyler Robinson did that, if you think this guy with his fuzzy Junebug Luna, this guy with the fuzzy hat, no. Nope. We'll save that one for later. But I understand the pitch. I understand the theme. I understand what you're saying. I got the drill. I got it. But no.
This is what has led to 3 legitimate attempts on President Trump's life.
All right.
And I can speak firsthand to that unbearable toll that this must take on our First Lady.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in Americans' entire history.
I don't know.
And after each one, the reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful.
True.
We are all human beings.
True.
And if you can just pause,
Okay.
and just take a minute and ask yourself,
What?
how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one?
Go ahead. Okay.
That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Yep.
He said that she had the glow of an expected widow.
Okay. I'm with you.
The glow of an expected widow.
I'm with you.
48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality.
Mm-hmm.
In this culture we're living in, absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months,
Literal.
if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all.
Now let's look at this, right, Bob? You got a feel for this, right? Okay. Let's review this. What can we say about the message? First, none of that is wrong, and none of that is profound. It's not wrong. It's not profound. It's not wrong. It's not an erratum. It's just not profound. You're right. You're right. When somebody is, you see, one of the things which is very interesting, when someone is shot or murdered versus assassinated, assassination, gotta be careful, guys, listen, is when you are doing something in order to stop a particular political movement, a thought, an idea, a policy, politics, whatever it is. That's that versus just some expunction for the sake of expunction, whether it's serial killer. So we understand that. I got that. I got that. I got that. And whenever you have people, for the most part, in this sick and demented world that we live in, when somebody attempts to take the life of somebody, invariably somebody out there finds it funny, especially these lunatics who have no sense because they live in a world, they live in the world of, cell phones, and they don't know what's up and what's not. You're right about that. You're right. Bottom line is simply this. What was the takeaway? Number one, do you feel closer to her? You answer the question. Don't ask me. Don't. Number two, do you feel closer to or maybe better aligned with TPUSA? Do you know what they're about? Number three, what are your feelings regarding Charlie? And that's important. I think those pretty much remain constant. Number four, what is your collective ideation, your feeling regarding media, and my favorite, how these folks decided to violate the first rule of media and journalism by becoming part of the story itself, which is not what they were doing. And the bottom line is simply this: walk away. If I had to put something in your hand like a meter of like, don't like, believe, don't believe. This is opinion, so it's hard to say I don't believe in opinion, but what's your take? What's your take? Every time you speak to somebody, every time you speak to a jury, every time you speak to somebody else, this is the only time you have. She always is affronted. It's always about her. Look at me. Look how mean they are to me. Look at what I have to go through. That's number one. Number two, what is the purpose of even going on and doing this? Whoever said, listen, I think while everybody is still freaked out over the fact that you said, I just want to go home when nobody else was acting like that, I would have probably said, let this go. People have the attention span of a gnat. They're not going to remember this. Don't go. But no, she's got to cut. No, this is my time. I've been sitting this out, kind of like Hillary Clinton years ago. It was Bill's time. Michelle Obama. I just sit out and let Barack do this. And now this is my time. I'm CEO, I'm in charge, and by God, it's Erika's time, and I'm going to speak. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say necessarily, but I'm going to show an anger in my SWAT team, whatever, and I'm going to convey the feeling of something. I would venture to say, as in most of her occasions, people are saying, that didn't accomplish anything. That set you back. And all I want to tell her is, unsolicited advice, which I find fascinating. The next time you do something, don't do it so much wait a little bit, but talk about, this is what we're doing. I'd like to talk to you about a little girl, a little boy, Ramona Griswold, or Eddie Buchanan. And we've given them scholarships, and we're proud of them. And we opened up 30 new chapters at TPUSA. And we're trying to teach people the power, whatever it is. Don't say don't say anything about yourself, how you were affronted, how you were hurt, how you were made to feel sidelined, literally, and lay off the literally, and lay off the guys. I know this is difficult today. I know I'm an old timer, but this, hey guys. You remember her? I'm still trying to get over the fact of, the whole casket shot. And a couple of days afterwards, when she did that weird Zoom call, hey guys, how's everybody going? This is great. Merch sales are up. Come on, why the long face? What's the matter? I mean, it was weird. So the bottom line is simply this. Nobody's telling her, no, don't do this. No. And let me leave you with one thing. Which is the most important. Had she come out once after the 10th of September, and said, thank you so much for the kindness you've shown for me and my family. I'm going to be with my children right now, as you can understand. And all I ask for you is your prayers. If you have a family, please love each other, kiss your spouses, because you never know when the day may come when you will never see them again. That's it. Had she done that, there would have been no inquiry into a TPUSA. She would have been loved, lauded. She would have been on a high without the fireworks and the pyrotechnics and the gold lame and all that jazz. No, but she doesn't think like that. She doesn't care about that. It's about her. It's about, this is my time. And I know this sounds cruel, but it's true. If she did this, there would be nobody would be. Candace Owens would have been talking about something else. Maybe perhaps the identity or the identification of the people who were responsible actually for the demise of Charlie, but it would have been completely different. It would have been completely different. But immediately she became the what? What? I'm so remember when she was hugging, remember J.D. Vance grabbed him by the back of the head and he said, let me go. Even Trump, she doesn't know what to do. She's in a role, and thank God, oh my God, thank God. This was, it became performative. It became, come on. That's what's fascinating about this. You would think somebody at this point would say, listen, Erika, we're in a lot of trouble right now. Now, let me tell you something. If half of the new allegations, if 10% are true, they're in a lot of trouble. I find the whole notion of people trying to convey the idea fascinating. And I mean this woman no harm, but every time she sticks her nose into something, it's fair game. It's fair game. I mean, after all, you spoke about journalism. I guess maybe this is journalism. This is commentary. I guess. I don't believe for 1 minute that this woman ever had anything to do with any of this stuff. And to be more precise, but a needless clarification, I don't think there's any evidence of it. But I don't intuitively believe it. Not for a moment. There's no evidence of, well, there's suspicion, but there's no evidence. And there sure as hell isn't any evidence that it was Tyler Robinson. Because you've got a rifle that isn't connected to anything, and you have this kind of an confession into what I don't know. That's another story. So think about this. This, my friends, is fascinating. Thank you for allowing me to dissect this. What do you think about this? I must give you the proverbial valedictory. Please like this video. Subscribe to our noble channel. Please hit that button so you can be always aware of new lives and new drops. And like us. Like me. Somebody likes me. Please. And I've got some questions for you. Do you think we're being too tough? Why is she so fascinating? All she's got to do is just act like a regular person, like Candace Owens said, Kobe Bryant's wife. That's the way grief looks like. Or the mother of the poor Ukrainian girl who was fatally stabbed by this animal when they were at the State of the Union address. Remember that? She looked spent, bereft, just waylaid. Like every ounce, every emotion had been drained from her. She was, and you can almost see, like, if I didn't know, but I'm thinking, Erika's saying, is this grief? Because I think her life is performative. Oh, I could talk to you about, I find her fascinating because I love complexity. And I love you for watching. Thank you, my friends. I've got some questions for you to answer. I thank you so much. And I ask you right now, as usual, to comment as you see fit.